I was 5 years old, and my parents had passed away in a car accident. I've been put into Mount Loretto's orphanage, and then from there I went into a group homes from the Bronx to Staten Island, and then eventually I ran away. The streets became my guidance, and I learned how to hustle, I learned how to sell drugs, and I took it from there.
As a woman in recovery in the early 90s, this is 1990, there was a lot of stigma still, and I remember feeling so outnumbered by older men and not sure if I could do this.
The people that I grew up with died. They died from the virus. They were sent to prison for life sentences. They died in the street. They overdosed. I resigned to the fact that I was going to end up in Potter's Field with a number on my toe and put in a wooden box. When I came into Project Hospitality, my death was certainly interrupted. I always look back to those days in Carpenter Shelter. It was like we were holding each other up. We had one guy with 20 days holding up a guy with 30 days. You know, we were encouraging each other. I couldn't have done it without them. That feeling of loneliness disappeared. Here I had hope that I would live a normal, productive life and enjoy doing it.
One thing about Carpenter Shelter and Project Hospitality was sometimes when there's no way, they'll make a way. And one of the examples of that is the bedroom was full, and there was a woman who was in desperate need of shelter. And so, out in the hall, underneath the stairs, they put a cot. And this woman stayed there until it was her turn to go to rehab. And I met up with this woman many, many, many years later in a laundromat on Port Richmond Avenue. And we shared this story and we laughed so hard about it. And that's how many of us started our journeys of recovery.
At 16 years old, I was still running the streets and I was still hustling, and I found Terry Troyer to have an outreach center to help with the little that she could. And she did so much for me that puts me at words that I can't find to say sometimes. Very emotional part of my life, struggling. And she was so helpful. But she tried, she didn't give up.
I found a wonderful little church on Staten Island that I joined, Olivet Presbyterian Church. And it was at this church, after 9/11, I felt called to ministry. And one year followed another year, and before I knew it, I was close to graduating. How was that even possible when a woman of 26 years old was homeless and riding the A train? That was how I lived, panhandling for the next drink or drug. And now I was in seminary to become a minister. I've now been at Olivet Presbyterian Church for 8.5 years. And my experience as a recovering alcoholic, as a homeless woman, has come such full circle. We have a homeless shelter right here at Olivet Presbyterian Church, the only women's shelter on Staten Island.
I'm clean 14 years. I'm done with my parole. I'm in the process of being on a waiting list to an apartment. When it does come through, that would be my first permanent housing of my own, ever.
I was on a journey that transformed my life in ways that words can hardly adequately explain. I'm only a father because I'm clean. Recovery is good. It's a beautiful journey. It's something that I'm glad I experienced.